Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and I know you're all waiting for that sweet content on Omens of Destruction. It's going to be a small while until Creative Assembly start ramping up their marketing and obviously my embargoes. So what I want to talk about is the Ogres today, because the Ogres are functionally done with Omens of Destruction. It's been a bunch of new units being added in, some various missing types of lords and heroes, so I don't think they'll get another DLC, that's pretty obvious. However, I could see them getting some free content down the line in the form of a legendary hero, a possible legendary lord, and also some units, because recently Creative Assembly have been doing unit variants just to kinda make the game a little bit more better during patches, which I very highly appreciate. And before we begin, we're only going to talk about stuff that either had official rules, official models, or was represented very heavily. So like an official Games Workshop kit bash and other type of stuff. There is, however, one exception to this rule. We have a lot of different monsters when it comes to the Ogre Kingdoms. Mournfang, Rhinox, Stonehorns, and now with the Thunder Tusks. We need to see more mount options. So in the tabletop, mounts are pretty much just there for the hunters, and it's usually just a Stonehorn or a Thunder Tusk. So tyrants, bruisers, slaughtermasters, all the usual lord and hero choices that aren't hunters never really had mount options. And that's pretty disappointing because it'd be kind of cool if that would be a possibility in the future. I think a lot of people would appreciate that because then you could go for a kind of memey ogre cavalry only army and stuff, right? I know it's not the most interesting thing, but mount options do add to a different playstyle. In the old world you can now, just with your tyrants and I think bruisers, with the Thunder Tusk and the Stonehorn, but it just would be nicer if you could have mount options for the Rhinox, also the Mournfang. Now, I don't know how possible this could be, considering that obviously Games Workshop would have to approve it or not, but it's something that we've seen in lore. We know in lore that they can ride them. There's nothing stopping a tyrant from mounting a Mournfang. So I think the justification can easily be presented and it would just be a lot cooler. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I'd love to see that, and I think a lot of other people would too. Okay, we're going to start moving on to characters now. So Ghark Ironskin is a tyrant of the Ironskin tribe, so he leads his own tribe. What makes him very unique to other tyrants is the fact that he is very much in close relations with the Chaos Dwarfs. I wouldn't really call it an alliance, more mutual benefit. And this is what makes his tribe so powerful, because Ghark has a unique mount. This is the Iron Rhinox, which is, a demon engine. Yeah, it's a ogre riding on a demon engine, which is super cool. The armor that he's wearing makes him very much defensive, and a lot of his tribe members will also benefit from stronger armaments, weapons, armor, equipment. It makes them a very powerful tribe. The reason why the Ironskins are so good for that is because they send a lot of slaves to the Chaos Dwarfs. The Chaos Dwarfs obviously need laborers, as it says in Warhammer 3, and they'll happily pay for that. So it's definitely a unique looking ogre because it would be an Iron Gut, very heavily armored, and then mounted upon essentially what is a Juggernaut, but it's a Rhinox. It looks like a Rhinox. I could see another character coming down if the ogres end up being popular, either as an FLC Legendary Lord at one point, or if Creative Assembly ever start to do character packs. And I do think that character packs are going to be a valuable way forward for the future of Total War Warhammer, especially if we're going to be in droughts of 8 months or so, but we'll talk about that another day. They could put this character literally anywhere and maybe make this a true horde faction, very different to other types of ogres. Now, we don't know what the ogre rework is going to do, but I don't think that they're going to make them a true horde, but I guess time will tell. Okay, so there can be another possible legendary hero with Brother Slave Lord, and this is a very unique ogre. Introduced, I think, in lore around 6th edition? I've seen his model pop up on eBay, the exact diorama that you're seeing, just unpainted. Actually, I saw it in Troll Trader once, it was 500 quid. I mean, nobody can justify that, right? But, yeah. So this is a pretty interesting character because he used to be a man-eater, and he was imprisoned by a necromancer. The problem is, if you're trying to enslave an ogre in any way, shape, or form, you might as well kill it and then revive it. He eventually broke free, as a tyrant is quite angry and generally not something that you're going to be able to keep as a pet, beat the necromancer to death with a chair, skinning him as a trophy, and then decided to eat half of the slaves and keep the others for him as pets. Now, I know this might sound like kind of weird lore, but then again, it's Warhammer. What is added to that is that the necromancer's skin still is very magical, and that allowed for the prisoners that Braw took with him to be revived. Essentially, he has some undead servants. This could be kind of interesting to see as a very unique ogre, for sure. Not like a lot of work would have to be done there. You just get a butcher and then just really reskin him a little bit. So essentially what you could have is a butcher, but with a lore of necromancy and access to summons for ghosts and zombies and stuff. It's definitely unique for an ogre, and I don't see this as part of a DLC. Again, character packs are a big thing here. And to be honest, yeah, Brag was probably the better choice for Omens of Destruction, because Brag is very well known. But you see what I mean, that there's a few characters that could be implemented and have a little bit of fun with. Right now, and it's something that we do have to talk about, there is a very heavy bias, very, very heavy bias for Chaos characters getting legendary heroes. There's a lot of legendary heroes for Chaos, but not so much for everyone else. It'd be a shame if some races ended up with just one or none at all. So for missing units and generic lords and heroes, I think we're pretty much done. We're missing laws of magic for the butchers and the slave masters, but I'm imagining that we'll likely see that in the ogre hall, because that's usually something that happens. Hopefully, and I hope I'm not wrong here, because it would be good to just have some finalized magics there. There's no missing units for the ogres in terms of ogres themselves. Keep this in mind that it was the 8th edition book which redid them fully, and that's pretty much it. But there's a few things that could be added for free, and we're going to be looking towards the Gnoblar hordes, especially since piggyback riders are now a thing, thanks to Omens of Destruction. So we could actually end up with another lord and hero choice, that being the Gnoblar head honcho and the Gnoblar honcho. Yep, Gnoblar characters. This is stuff that you've probably seen in the Gnoblar Hordes mod, but yes, it was an official thing from way back in the day. They're not really the most, amazing characters. Actually, it's not too bad. The head honcho stats are relatively good on the tabletop for back in the day. Weapon skill 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds. For a Gnoblar, that's actually amazing, considering it's only 45 points. But, yeah, you could have these as a reason to have cheaper armies running around. Rather than just having ogre lords and heroes all over the place, you could have really low-cost armies charging about, doing their own damage. That would be with a mount option too, because you can actually have them with a Rhinox. This is for the Lord option only. Keep in mind that obviously the Scrap Launcher is more of a Gnoblar unit than it is an Ogre unit too. It's still in the Ogre roster, but you know what I mean. So it could be done in such a way where the Lord option, is maybe additional hand weapons, can be mounted, and then the Hero option could have a sling. Be a support hero, and there you go. It's very basic, very, very basic, but the idea is just this could be done as a free update using the basic rig and animations of the Gnoblars, changing some stuff around, and there you go. I think people would appreciate some free stuff like that, because it's not the most exciting thing, kind of like when we had the goblins come in with the sword and shield, or the orc spear boys, but people still really enjoyed it, because it's free, and, it's something new to play around with. And then lastly, just add in the last of everything here for the Gnoblar Horde. It's not the best stuff, and we've obviously got some stuff already in there. Boglars, our Regiment of Renown, Piggyback Riders are coming in soon, but you could get Gnoblar Fighters, which would just be the basic Gnoblars that we have, but instead of a spear, they just have a hand weapon, making them even cheaper than they are. Good God, look at the points per model. It's 2 points. It's just so ridiculous. Pretty shit stats, but not too bad for 2 points. Man-biters and flingers are still missing, I believe, because we do have trappers and basic Gnoblars, plus the piggyback riders. So it would just be a few units here and there. It doesn't have to be all added in at once, but could you imagine, here's a patch down the line with a FLC Legendary Lord, or FLC Hero, ordering the character packs and go, hey, we've also added a bunch of units for free, which are pretty low efforts, but, you guys can enjoy them and just have full Gnoblar armies. Again, not supposed to be the most exciting thing, but unit variants coming in for free is something I think a lot of people appreciated. I know there's some people who are a little bit mad about the Black Orcs with shields coming in as a paid unit. It might just be because they've got loads of new animations and art assets done, whereas these, you can kit bash from everything that's already available. Hell, I think that's what the Gnoblar Horde mod actually does too. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, start a bit of discussion. Maybe there's something in the lore which you would prefer. I'd always appreciate suggestions. I normally do these post-DLC launch, but Creative Assembly aren't posting anything today, so I might as well, during the lull, because there's a lot that I want to talk about, and we're going to have some lore stuff coming out soon. I'm jumping around. Believe me, my schedule is pretty hectic. Especially, I'm trying to finish up rebasing my Beastmen. Yeah, there's like 300 models. I'm really tired. But yeah, have a great day, guys, and I'll see you all again really soon.